I still remember the sound of my own heartbeat that night. It felt loud enough to break the hallway walls. I stood outside Lena's apartment holding a warm dinner bag in my hand, whispering to myself, "She's going to love this." She said she missed me. I had been working late all week, and I thought surprising her would fix the distance I kept feeling. But before I knocked, I heard voices inside her apartment. Her voice, soft and bright, and another voice I recognized immediately. "Caleb." I froze. "Why are you still laughing?" I whispered under my breath. "What's so funny at this hour?" I leaned closer to the door, telling myself it was probably nothing. They had grown up together. They shared history. They were close. She always used that word, but something about the laughter felt different. I heard Caleb say, "You know you don't have to force yourself anymore." Lena let out a tired sigh. I'm tired of pretending with Ethan." My lungs locked. I didn't blink. I didn't breathe. I just stood there with the dinner bag growing heavier in my hand. "What do you mean?" Caleb asked. "I don't know how to tell him," she whispered. "He still thinks everything is fine." My fingers trembled so hard the bag crackled. Caleb exhaled. "You don't have to explain anything you don't want to. I'm here. You know that." "I know," she said softly, almost gratefully. I stepped back from the door as if it burned me. My heart screamed, "No, no, no, this can't be what it sounds like." I tried convincing myself. Maybe she's talking about something else. Maybe it's work. Maybe. But the tone, the closeness, the way she said she was pretending. I swallowed hard. "Just knock," I whispered to myself. "Just knock and see." My knuckles hit the wood before I lost my courage. Inside, the voices stopped. A second later, Lena opened the door. Her smile looked forced, too fast, too stiff. "Ethan, you didn't tell me you were coming." I raised the bag. "I wanted to surprise you." Caleb stepped into view behind her. "Hey, man." He gave me a smirk that made my stomach twist. "Didn't expect you tonight." I almost asked, "Should I have?" But the words stuck. Lena stepped aside. "Come in." I walked in slowly, scanning everything. The sofa cushions, the coffee table, their distance, their faces. Nothing looked wrong, but everything felt wrong. Lena rubbed her arm. "You look surprised." "I heard you two talking," I said. My voice sounded flat. "I didn't mean to, but I heard you." Lena blinked fast. "What exactly did you hear?" I stared at her. "Enough." Caleb spoke before she could. "We were just talking about how tired she's been. Work's been rough." "Yeah," Lena added quickly. "I've been stressed out, that's all." I looked at her eyes. They shook. "You said you're tired of pretending with me." She froze. Caleb's expression shifted for a split second. Annoyed, then neutral. Lena swallowed. "Ethan, I didn't mean it like that." "How did you mean it?" My voice cracked, and I hated that it did. "I meant I'm tired of pretending everything is okay at work," she said quickly. "You misunderstood." Caleb stepped closer. "You're making her nervous, man." "I'm talking to her," I snapped. Lena held up a hand. "Please don't fight. Caleb was just helping me vent. That's all." I looked at them standing side by side. Something inside me twisted painfully. "Why didn't you call me? If you're stressed, if you're tired, why not talk to me?" She looked down. "I didn't want to bother you. You've been busy." "But Caleb isn't busy," I asked. Her silence cut deeper than her words. Caleb shifted his weight. She needed someone tonight. That's all. My jaw clenched. And that someone had to be you. Lena sighed. "Ethan, please. You're reading too much into this." "I hope I am," I said quietly. "I really hope so." Lena stepped toward me. "Let's just eat, okay? You brought dinner. Let's sit." I looked at her hand reaching for mine, but something inside me refused to move. The trust one held for her, blind, pure, stupid, felt like it was slipping through my fingers. "I'll go," I said. Lena's face fell. "Why?" "Because I don't feel welcome," I whispered. And because if I stay, I might hear something I can't unhear. Caleb crossed his arms, looking annoyed. You're being dramatic. I stared right at him. Maybe, but at least I'm honest. Lena grabbed my wrist. Ethan, please don't leave like this. I pulled my hand back gently. If there's something I should know, tell me. Don't let me find out in the worst way. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. That silence told me everything. I stepped backward toward the door. Good night, Lena. Caleb muttered, unbelievable. I ignored him. I walked out. I closed the door behind me. My legs almost gave out in the hallway. That was the moment my world sank, quietly, painfully, completely, and I knew nothing would ever be the same again. I woke up the next morning with the same question looping in my head. Was I overreacting? Was I being paranoid? I kept hearing Lena's voice saying she was tired of pretending, and every time it echoed, I felt my chest tighten. I grabbed my phone and called her. Lena, can we talk? I asked the second she picked up. Her voice was soft. Ethan, about last night. I didn't mean to hurt you. Then help me understand, I said. Why was Caleb there? Why did it sound like you were talking about us? I told you, she whispered. I was stressed. He was just comforting me. Comforting you how? Just talking. That's all. I rubbed my forehead. Then why did you say you were pretending with me? She went silent for a moment. Because I didn't want you to worry about how burned out I am. I've been acting fine for your sake. For my sake. I muttered. You didn't look burned out when you were laughing with him. Ethan, she said sharply, please stop reading things that aren't there. Then help me see what is there, I replied. I just need space to breathe, she said. Work is a mess. Clients are horrible. Caleb was nearby, so I talked. That's it. I wanted to believe her so badly. Okay, I said quietly. I'll give you space. Just tell me if something changes. She sighed. Nothing's changing. I just need time. I love you. Isn't that enough? I forced myself to answer, I hope so. Later that afternoon, I met Mason at our usual cafe. He stared at me the moment I sat down. You look like you didn't sleep. I didn't, I admitted. What happened? I told him everything. The voices. The words. The excuses. The silence. Mason leaned back. That doesn't sound like stress to me. That sounds like she's hiding something. I know how it sounded, I said. But I also know Lena. She's not the type to cheat. People change, he replied. And sometimes they don't say it out loud. They just drift. Caleb is her cousin, I said, even though the words tasted wrong. Mason raised a brow. A cousin who smirks at you like he won. I stared at the table. I hate that you noticed that too. Ethan, I'm not telling you to break up. I'm telling you to open your eyes. I'm trying, I whispered. In the evening, I went near Lena's office to pick her up, hoping to talk face to face. She wasn't expecting me, but I needed clarity. When she walked out with a group of coworkers, she looked tired, really tired, but when Caleb texted her, her face lit up for a second before she controlled it. Then a woman approached me from the side. You're Ethan, right? I turned. Yeah, do I know you? Avery, she said. I work with Lena. Oh, nice to meet you. She lowered her voice. Can I say something without you thinking I'm stirring drama? My stomach dropped. Go ahead. I don't want you to think bad of her, she said, but Caleb is around her a lot. Like, a lot more than he should be. I swallowed hard. She said they're just talking. Avery shrugged slightly. Maybe. Just be careful, okay? You seem like someone who cares too much. I forced a smile. Thanks for telling me. Lena finally noticed me and walked over. Ethan, what are you doing here? I wanted to see you, I said. Is that okay? Yes, but you should have texted. I'm tired. I could drive you home, I offered. I came with Caleb, she said. He's just grabbing something inside. My jaw tightened. You didn't tell me he was driving you. It didn't matter, she said. It was last minute. It matters to me, I said quietly. She sighed. Ethan, please don't start. I told you things are stressful enough. I'm not starting, I replied. I'm trying to understand. But lately, every time I ask something, you shut down. I'm not shutting down, she said. I'm just overwhelmed. With me. With everything, she said, avoiding my eyes. Caleb walked out, jingling his keys. Ready to go, Lena. I felt something crack inside me. Lena nodded without looking at me. I'll call you when I get home. Lena, I said softly, are we okay? She forced a small smile. We will be. Just trust me. Trust. The one thing slipping out of my hands. As she walked away with him, I whispered to myself, I keep fighting for her. And then the truth hit me like a punch. But she stopped fighting for me long ago. I kept checking my phone that evening, waiting for Lena to text that she was on her way. I told myself she would be home by 10. Then 11. Then midnight. By 1 in the morning, I started pacing the living room. I finally called her. Lena, where are you? I asked the moment she picked up. Her voice sounded rushed. Ethan, I'm at work. There was an emergency. I can't come home tonight. Since when do you stay overnight? It just happened. I'm dealing with a client meltdown. Don't make this harder. I'm not, I whispered. I'm worried. I'll call you later, she said and hung up. I stared at the phone like it had punched me. In the morning, she still hadn't called. I dialed Grace, my sister, because I needed someone to stop my thoughts from spiraling. She answered half asleep. Ethan, it's 7. What's wrong? Lena didn't come home, I said. She said it was work. Grace let out a slow breath. And you believe her? I want to, I said. I really want to. You sound like someone holding his breath until it hurts, she murmured. You need to step back and breathe for real. I'm scared if I step back, she'll slip away completely. And if you keep chasing her while she's running towards someone else? Grace said softly. Where does that leave you? I sat down on the edge of my bed. Grace, I don't know what to do. Then stop trying to fix something alone, she said. She needs to meet you halfway. I didn't answer. I didn't know how. Around afternoon, I texted Nathan, Lena's brother. He'd always been honest with me. He called immediately. Ethan, what's going on? I think something's wrong, I said. She's been distant. She didn't come home. She keeps saying she's tired, stressed. I don't know anymore. Nathan sighed. Yeah. I noticed she's been off lately. I tried asking her yesterday. She brushed me off. She brushes everyone off, I muttered. Except Caleb. Nathan paused. Is this about him? I don't know, I said, though I knew exactly what I felt. Well, I'll talk to her, he said. She's supposed to come by tonight. Thanks, I whispered. Please just tell me if she's okay. I will. And Ethan. Yeah. You don't deserve to feel like you're begging for scraps. His words hit harder than I expected. By evening, Lena still hadn't come home. She only sent a short text. Still busy. Don't wait up. I stared at it until the words blurred. I opened social media just to distract myself, scrolling mindlessly. That's when I saw it. Caleb had posted a story. A dim bar. Loud music. His drink on the counter. A reflection of someone next to him. A woman with Lena's hair. He captioned it. Needed this. My hands began to shake. I whispered. No, she said she was at work. She said she had an emergency. My heart started racing. I replayed the video again and again. The lights in the bar flickered, and for a split second, I saw the curve of her shoulder, the way she tilts her head when she's listening. I grabbed my phone and called her again. She didn't pick up. I texted, Where are you? Please tell me the truth. No reply. I called Nathan. Did she come by? I asked. Not yet, he said. She said she might be late. Why? Check Caleb's story, I said. My voice shook. Just check it. A minute passed before he came back on the line. Ethan, that looks like her. It does, I whispered. And she said she was working. Nathan cursed under his breath. I'll try calling her. Stay calm. I'm trying, I said. But I feel like something is tearing me apart. Don't assume the worst yet. I'm not assuming anything, I said. I'm watching it happen. Hours passed before she finally texted. Going to sleep at a coworker's place. Too tired to drive. A coworker. I stared at that lie so long I could taste the bitterness of it. Grace called me again. Did you talk to her? She lied, I said. And she's not even trying to hide it. Grace stayed silent for a moment, then said, Ethan, I'm sorry. I pressed my hand over my eyes. I don't know how much more of this I can take. Then stop taking it, she whispered. I let out a broken laugh. I kept fighting for her, Grace. I know, she said. But she stopped fighting for me the moment he came back into her life. And saying it out loud hurt more than anything else. I didn't want to believe it. I kept telling myself, maybe Avery misread something. Maybe it wasn't what it looked like. But when she finally cornered me after work, the words hit like a punch. Ethan. I saw them, Avery said quietly, glancing around to make sure no one else was listening. Saw who? I asked, my voice sharper than I intended. Caleb and Lena, outside the office, holding hands. I froze. My stomach turned. Holding hands. She nodded slowly. Yeah. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought maybe it was a mistake. But Ethan, it wasn't. I felt numb. My knees almost buckled, but I clenched my fists instead. All those excuses, the work emergency, staying late, lying about everything. I laughed bitterly. It was all lies. She wasn't stressed. She was with him. Avery looked at me with sympathy. I'm so sorry, Ethan. I didn't want to hurt you. I couldn't keep it to myself anymore. I walked away from her, gripping the railing like it would keep me grounded. I should have seen it, I muttered. I should have known. All those little things I ignored, the late calls, the secretive smiles. I ignored them because I wanted to believe her, because I wanted to believe in us. I pulled my phone out. Her name flashed on the screen. I stared at it, shaking. Do I call her? No. I couldn't. Not yet. I drove to her apartment instead, trying to keep my hands from trembling. When I knocked, she opened the door, her face pale, like she already knew. Ethan. I didn't expect you, she said softly. I stepped in anyway. We need to talk, I said. My voice was low, steady. I refused to let it shake. Her eyes welled up. I didn't want to hurt you. Didn't want to hurt me. I echoed, feeling my chest tighten. Holding hands with him outside your office, spending nights working at his place, didn't want to hurt me. Tears streamed down her cheeks. I didn't know how to tell you. I thought it would be temporary. Temporary. I laughed, bitter. You made a choice. This wasn't temporary. This wasn't a mistake. This was a choice you made while I was here, believing in you. I didn't mean for it to happen like this, she whispered, sobbing. Then why did you let it happen? I asked. Why didn't you stop yourself? Why not me? Why him? She turned away, hugging herself. I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted. Confused. I shouted, my voice echoing off the walls. I gave you everything. Everything. And you chose him. You chose someone else over me. Her sobs filled the room. I'm sorry, Ethan. I'm so sorry. Sorry isn't enough. I said, my hands shaking uncontrollably. I've been defending you, trusting you, forgiving you, while you were already gone. You've been gone for a long time, Lena. You just didn't tell me. She fell to the floor, covering her face. Please, don't hate me. I took a step back. I couldn't hate her. I was past anger, past betrayal. It was something colder now. Acceptance. Sadness. The knowledge that the girl I loved was no longer mine. I don't hate you, I said quietly. I can't stay here anymore. Her voice cracked. Ethan, please. I'll change. I'll do anything. Just don't go. I shook my head, feeling tears prick my own eyes. It's too late. The moment you let him in, the moment you held his hand, you already checked out. I can't fix this. I can't fight for someone who stopped fighting for me. Her hand shook as she reached for me, but I pulled away. My fingers still trembled from anger, fear, and heartbreak. I loved you, I whispered. I really did. But I can't stay where I'm not wanted. I turned toward the door, each step heavier than the last. I didn't look back. The apartment door closed behind me with a quiet click. My heart ached, my hand shook, but for the first time in a long time, I felt a strange clarity. She had chosen, and I had finally chosen myself. I didn't leave my apartment for 3 days. I didn't answer calls. I didn't eat properly. I just sat there staring at the wall, replaying every word, every glance, every lie. Mason finally showed up, knocking on my door like he owned it. Ethan, open up, man, he shouted. I'm not talking to anyone, I said without moving. You haven't eaten in days. You're fading away, and I'm not letting that happen, he said, pushing the door open. I'm fine, I mumbled, but my voice sounded like paper tearing. No, you're not. That's obvious. Come with me, Mason said firmly. I tried to protest. I don't want to. You don't have a choice. Get your shoes. We ended up at some office. I didn't know what to expect. Mason knocked, and a calm, warm voice answered. Ethan. Mason said you might be coming. I'm Dr. Rowan Miles, a man said, smiling gently. I froze. Hi. Please, sit, he said. No judgment here. Just talk. I laughed bitterly. Talk? About what? How my girlfriend cheated on me. About what hurts. About what you're feeling, he said softly. I can already see you're carrying more than you should. Mason gave me a nod, then left. I slumped into the chair. I don't know where to start. Start with yourself. How do you feel? Broken, I said. Used. Stupid for trusting her. Dr. Miles leaned forward. You're not stupid. You're human. You cared. You loved. That's not weakness. I feel weak, I whispered. Feeling weak doesn't make you weak. Weakness is staying where you're not wanted. You don't have to do that. I swallowed hard. I don't even know who I am anymore. You will. You just need to take one small step at a time. The first step was eating again. Mason brought me food. I barely touched it at first, but Dr. Miles' words echoed. One small step. I chewed slowly, feeling my stomach remember what it meant to be fed. Then came sleep. Nights that didn't involve staring at the ceiling, imagining her and Caleb. Dr. Miles said, your body needs to rest. Your mind will follow. And it did, eventually. I started speaking again. To Mason, to Grace, to anyone who didn't make me feel small. I realized I had been shrinking myself for her, for their lies, for everyone who expected me to be patient while they walked over me. Then came social media. Caleb. Of course. I scrolled. A picture of him and Lena at some cafe. A story of them laughing together. Another post. A tagged photo with him wrapping an arm around her shoulder. She didn't stop him. She didn't hide it. She didn't care. I felt the old sting, but something inside me was different. I didn't spiral. I didn't cry immediately. I looked at it and thought, fine. See her for who she is. I'm done pretending it doesn't hurt. Dr. Miles' words came back again. Weakness is staying where you're not wanted. I realized I wasn't weak. Not anymore. I had survived betrayal. I had survived heartbreak. And now, I was starting to survive for myself. Mason called me later. How's it feel? Honestly. I said, taking a deep breath. Strange. Lighter. Scary, but lighter. That's your rebirth, he said. It's not instant. It's slow. But it's real. I nodded. I think I can start moving forward. Not for her. Not for anyone. For me. Dr. Miles had told me it wouldn't be easy. Every time I thought of Lena, I felt the old pull. But the spark was there. That little spark that said, I still have control. I still have my life. And for the first time in months, I smiled. Not because I forgot her. Not because the pain was gone. But because I realized I was stronger than the heartbreak, stronger than the lies, stronger than the person I had been before all of this. I was ready to start again. I stopped calling. I stopped texting. I stopped looking for her. I even deleted our usual hangout spots from my calendar. Mason kept telling me, Ethan, you're doing the right thing. Let them feel what they took for granted. I nodded, but it still hurt. Avery caught me at the cafe a few days later. Ethan, you won't believe how she's been. I frowned. What do you mean? She cries at work sometimes, Avery said quietly. She tells me Caleb yells at her if she tries to leave for lunch or breaks. She's trapped, Ethan. I didn't say anything at first. I just let it settle. My anger was quiet, cold, and sharp. Trapped, I whispered. I should have never defended him for her. Avery hesitated. It's not your fault. You did what anyone would, tried to trust her. But she doesn't even know what she had until now. I let out a bitter laugh. Exactly. That's the point. Nathan called me later. Ethan, I finally spoke to Caleb. What did he say? I asked, trying to sound casual. He didn't apologize. He said Lena is overreacting. He said she should deal with it if she can't handle him. My fists tightened around the phone. That bastard. Yeah. I told him he was an asshole, Nathan said. And he's lucky I didn't drag him out of the office. I laughed. Cold. Lucky him. Not lucky her. She's finally realizing who he really is. She called you, by the way, Nathan said softly. I froze. She called me. Yeah. Tried to reach you a few times. You didn't answer. No, I said. I'm done hearing excuses. I'm done being her crutch. Nathan sighed. Fair. I just thought you should know. Thanks, I said. I'll live without her calls. The next day, I walked past Mrs. Ward's boutique to pick up some things. She waved me over. Ethan, you look healthier, she said. I smiled faintly. Thanks. Trying to get back to normal. You deserve it, she said. Don't let anyone make you feel less than you are. Her words made me realize something. I hadn't been living for myself before. I had been bending for her, shrinking for her, defending her, and tolerating him. Not anymore. At work later, I checked social media again. Caleb had posted another picture of him and Lena, smiling, close, her hand on his arm. My chest tightened for a second, but this time I didn't spiral. I didn't text her. I didn't rage. I whispered to myself, You wanted me to fight for you? I'm gone. That's your fight now. Mason came by that evening. See? You're already stronger. You're calm. They feel the absence now. I nodded. Yeah, they're feeling what it's like not to have me around. They took me for granted for too long. They always do, Mason said. But now, karma's slow, but it's real. Let it run its course. I laughed softly. And they'll notice. Soon enough. Avery texted me later that night. She cried at the office today. Caleb yelled at her again. She keeps asking for you. I read it, put my phone down, and closed my eyes. A small spark of satisfaction warmed my chest, not because I wanted her pain, but because I finally had control over my own life. Grace called right after. Ethan, she tried calling you tonight. I told her not to keep bothering you. I didn't answer, I said firmly. You're strong, she said. I'm proud of you. I'm finally learning to be, I replied. Later that night, I sat on my balcony, looking at the city lights. I whispered to myself, they wanted me to fight for them. I fought for her, and lost myself. Now, I'm fighting for me. And that fight, for the first time, feels worth it. I didn't feel pain anymore. Not the raw, chaotic pain that had controlled me. This was different. Calm. Cold. Purposeful. They took me for granted, I murmured. And now, they're starting to see what it feels like without me. For the first time since everything began, I smiled, not because they were suffering, but because I had survived, and they were finally facing the consequences of their choices. And it felt like the first real step in reclaiming myself. I didn't expect her to knock. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity, or maybe a trace of the old habit, made me open the door. Lena was there, her eyes red, mascara streaked. She looked smaller somehow, fragile in a way I hadn't seen before. "Ethan, please," she whispered. I stayed silent, letting her words hang in the air. I need to tell you something," she said, stepping closer. "Caleb isn't. He's not who I thought he was. He yells, he manipulates, he's cruel." I didn't move. I didn't even speak. My chest felt empty, but not in pain. Just hollow. You're right," she continued, voice trembling. "I was stupid. I wanted the attention. I liked feeling chosen by someone else. I didn't think about you, about us." I let her talk. Let her confession pour out like water I didn't need. "And now I realize I've lost everything that mattered," she said, tears spilling down her face. "Ethan, please forgive me. Please." I shook my head slightly. "I hear you, Lena. But I don't feel anything anymore. Not the way I used to." Her sobs caught. You still hate me, don't you?" I sighed. "I don't hate you. I'm beyond that. I detached a long time ago. You made your choices. I'm just accepting them." "You can't mean that," she said, clutching my sleeve. "I was wrong. I love you." I shook her hand gently off my arm. Love isn't enough when trust is gone. When betrayal has become your habit, words can't fix it. You wanted someone else. You chose him over me. Her lips quivered. "But I didn't know he would be like this. I thought I was making a mistake with you." "Lena," I said quietly, calm for the first time in months, "you didn't make a mistake. You made a decision. You wanted the attention, the thrill, the feeling of being chosen by someone else. And that's fine, for you. But it's not my life. It's not my problem anymore." Her eyes widened. You don't care." "I cared," I said. "I cared enough to fight for you. I cared enough to forgive you when it hurt me. But now, I care about myself. I deserve better than lies. I deserve someone who chooses me without hesitation." Her head dropped. I never thought I'd lose you like this." "You did," I said simply. "You lost me the moment you let him in. You lost me the moment you decided to be with him while pretending to be with me. There's no going back." I don't know how to fix this," she whispered. "There's nothing to fix," I said calmly. "You need to face the consequences of your choices. That's all. You'll have to live with the reality of what you did, just as I'll live with the memory of what I gave you." Her lips trembled, and she stepped back. "Ethan, please, don't leave me completely." I shook my head. "I already did. Not out of anger, but because I stopped giving you the power to hurt me. I stopped defending you long ago. You've done that for yourself." She sank to the floor, covering her face. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I bent slightly, looking down at her, feeling a strange calm. "I know. And hearing it frees me. Frees me from waiting for someone who never truly chose me. That's the only thing you've given me today, clarity." She sniffled, silent now. I turned toward the door. "Goodbye, Lena." "Ethan, please." I didn't answer. I walked out, my steps steady, my hands no longer shaking. The hallway was quiet, the night air cool against my face. For the first time in months, I felt light. Not because she was suffering. Not because she regretted it. But because I finally realized I didn't need her regret. I didn't need her apologies. I only needed myself. And I had her absence. I didn't check my phone for hours. I didn't care who called. But eventually, Mason nudged me. "Ethan, you should see this." "What?" I asked, already dreading the answer. "Just open your socials," he said. I scrolled. Caleb. Publicly humiliated. Chloe Hart, his ex, had posted a video. Look at him lying, manipulating, gaslighting everyone around him. Chloe's voice rang in the clip. And he thinks he's untouchable. People deserve to know who he really is. I leaned back, watching him squirm in comments, watching people call him out. His arrogance cracking, exposed to the world. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just let it happen. Silently, completely removed. The next day, Nathan called. Ethan, Caleb tried calling me. I didn't answer. I told him you wouldn't either. Good, I said. My voice calm. Cold. Let him burn. Nathan chuckled softly. You've changed. You're not him anymore. I'm not anyone for him to manipulate, I said. He asked about Lena, Nathan added, almost cautiously. And? I asked. She told him to leave her alone, Nathan said. Finally. No more excuses. I exhaled slowly. Finally. Good. About time he faced the truth too. Avery stopped by my office later. Ethan, he's trying to cover up his mistakes, but everyone's onto him now. He asked me for help at work. And? I asked, sipping my coffee. I said no, she said firmly. I'm done cleaning his messes. I'm done letting him drag people down. I nodded. Perfect. Let him realize who's left when everyone stops defending him. Avery smiled faintly. You're calm. He's unraveling, and you're watching it all without touching it. I shrugged. I don't need to touch it. I don't need to intervene. I did my part by walking away. Some people take longer to learn, Avery said. Let him, I replied. I've learned faster than he ever will. Later, his calls came. At first, 1, then 2, then 3 in a row. I ignored them all. Each vibration on my phone was a reminder of how far I had come, how far I had detached. Finally, a text. Ethan, I need to talk. Please. I stared at it. My fingers hovered, then I deleted it. No reply. No words. Silence. It felt good. Strange, powerful, but good. The next week, news came through the grapevine. Caleb had tried reconciling with Lena. She laughed. She walked away. I didn't need details. I didn't need to see it. I already knew the outcome. I didn't intervene. I didn't need to. Watching them stumble through their choices, seeing the consequences unfold without my hand in it, was strangely satisfying. Not because I wanted them pain, but because I finally had the luxury of removing myself from the chaos entirely. I whispered to myself, you wanted me to fight for you, for her, for everything. Now you fight for yourself. And you're losing. Mason smirked across the table. That's the power of silence, my friend. I smiled faintly, almost to myself. Silence, patience, and knowing my own worth. Later, I sat on the balcony again, looking at the city lights, feeling the calm. Caleb's life was collapsing. Chloe's exposure, Nathan's refusal, Avery's boundaries, Lena's rejection, all pieces falling perfectly into place. I hadn't lifted a finger. I hadn't gloated. I hadn't sought revenge. And yet, everything had shifted. They took me for granted, I murmured quietly. And now, they see what it's like to lose control, to face their own choices. The power wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It was quiet, patient, and unshakable. For the first time, I realized that walking away had been stronger than fighting. Being calm, detached, and aware of my own worth, that had changed everything. I didn't need them to crumble for me to feel whole. But watching it unfold, knowing I was untouchable by their mistakes now, gave me something better than revenge. Freedom. I woke up early that morning, sunlight spilling across the floor. For the first time in months, I didn't feel hollow. I didn't feel anxious. I just existed. And that was enough. Mason called me while I was making coffee. Morning, Ethan. Ready for round 2 of conquering life? I laughed softly. Morning, Mason. I think I am. You sound different, calm, in control. I'm learning, I said. It's a start. I stopped by Dr. Rowan's office later that day. "Ethan, you look lighter," he said, smiling. "I feel lighter," I admitted. "I'm finally learning to be okay with myself." "That's progress," he said, leaning back. "You're taking responsibility for your own happiness, not someone else's actions. That's true growth." "I never realized how much I'd been carrying," I said. "Not just about Lena, about all of it. But now, I can finally let it go." "You're not letting go out of weakness," Dr. Miles said. "You're letting go because you're stronger than the pain." I nodded. It feels good to stop fighting battles that aren't mine. Grace stopped by later with lunch. "How's my favorite brother?" she asked, grinning. "Better," I said, smiling back. "Healthier. Mentally, too." "I knew you'd get here," she said. "It just took letting yourself breathe." I nodded. I'm learning that being strong isn't always about fighting. Sometimes it's about walking away, choosing yourself, and trusting you'll be okay. Grace reached out, squeezing my shoulder. "And you are. You really are." At work, I focused harder than ever. Projects, meetings, deadlines. I threw myself into my career. I loved the feeling of accomplishment that had nothing to do with anyone else. Avery popped by my desk. "You look peaceful, Ethan. I'm proud of you." "Thanks," I said. "It feels good to stop being consumed by other people's chaos." "And that's exactly why you'll succeed," she said. "You've reclaimed your life." I smiled, finally believing it. Then came her call. Lena. Again. I let it ring once, then sent it to voicemail. But she didn't stop. She texted, "Ethan, please. I was wrong. I miss you. Can we talk?" I stared at it. My fingers trembled slightly, but not with longing. With resolve. I called her back, finally. "Lena." "Ethan. I'm sorry. Please, just hear me out." "I hear you," I said calmly. "But I don't love you anymore." She froze. "You, what?" "I said I don't love you. Not anymore," I repeated. My voice steady. "I've moved on. You made your choices, and I made mine. I choose me now." Her voice cracked. "Ethan, please. I didn't know." "You did," I said softly. "You knew. I don't hate you. I just don't need you anymore. And you can't be part of my life if you didn't respect me when I was there." I understand," she whispered, broken. "Good. Take care of yourself, Lena," I said. "I hope you learn from this." And I hung up. I leaned back in my chair and closed my eyes. The silence felt heavy and light at the same time. I realized I wasn't defined by her, by Caleb, or by the past. I was defined by me. Mason called later. "Feeling like a new man yet?" I laughed softly. "I think I am. Finally, I get to live for me. Not for her. Not for anyone. Just me." "And that's exactly how it should be," he said. I looked out the window, sunlight hitting my face, and whispered quietly to myself, "I'm free. I'm strong. And I'll never let anyone make me feel less again." For the first time in years, I chose me, and it was the only choice that ever mattered. Months had passed since I stopped answering her calls, since I stopped checking Caleb's posts, since I finally chose myself. Life had settled into a rhythm I hadn't known for years. Work, family, friends, my own ambitions. I filled my world with things that mattered to me, not anyone else. I saw her again one afternoon. Lena. She wasn't running from me this time. She looked hesitant, careful, like approaching a wild animal. "Ethan," she said softly, voice trembling. I nodded, not smiling, not frowning. "Lena." I just wanted to see you one last time," she whispered. "Not for me, just to apologize." "You don't owe me anything," I said calmly. "You made your choices. I made mine. That's enough." She looked down at her hands. "I regret everything. I hurt you more than I could ever admit. I'm sorry." "I hear you," I said, keeping my voice steady. "And that's all I need. I'm not angry anymore." Her eyes met mine, searching for something, maybe forgiveness, maybe my old love. I shook my head slightly. I don't need you in my life anymore. We're strangers now, Lena. Shared history, nothing more. She nodded slowly, swallowing hard. I understand. I don't want to hurt you again. I needed you to know I see my mistakes. Then you know, I said. And now, it's time we walk separate paths. Her lips trembled, but she smiled faintly, sad but accepting. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye, Lena, I said, my voice calm, grounded. Caleb passed by the same street later that week. He didn't see me at first. When he did, his face went pale. No smirk, no arrogance, just shame. He avoided my eyes and walked past quickly, shoulder slumped. I didn't feel triumph, didn't feel pleasure. I just felt detached. He had ruined himself. His manipulations, his lies, his need to control, they had backfired completely. And now he had no one left to prop him up. I whispered to myself, quietly, almost like a prayer, you lived your choices. I don't need to watch you suffer to feel free. I already am. Months of therapy, of self-reflection, of silence, had done what revenge never could. I was free. Not because they suffered, not because I had won in some external sense, but because the pain was gone. The anger was gone. The obsession, the longing, the helplessness, all gone. Grace called one evening. Ethan, you sound different. Happier. I am, I said, smiling into the phone. For the first time in years, I feel like myself again. Not because I forgave anyone, not because they paid a price. I just chose me. That's beautiful, she said softly. I'm proud of you. I've spent too long shrinking for people who didn't see my worth, I said. Too long begging for love that was never mine. Now I know I'll never do that again. And you won't, Grace said. Ever. I'll live for myself, Grace. That's all I need. One evening, I sat on my balcony, the city lights shimmering like memories scattered across the streets. I whispered to no one in particular. I am whole. I am free. I am enough. The wind carried the words away, and it felt right. Nothing pressed on my chest. Nothing haunted me. No ghosts, no regrets, no longing. I remembered Lena, Caleb, all the chaos, all the heartbreak. And I smiled faintly, not with malice, not with bitterness, but with peace. They took me for granted. I lost love, I lost trust, I lost time. But I gained something greater. Myself, I murmured. I thought back to every moment I'd cried, every night I'd been sleepless, every time I had begged silently for someone who would never choose me. And now, all of that belonged to the past. I don't need to fight for anyone who doesn't fight for me, I said firmly, whispering into the cool night air. I don't need apologies, confessions, or regrets. I need me. Only me. The city hummed below, life moving on. And I moved with it, lighter than I'd ever been, untethered from pain, untethered from anyone who had tried to define me. For the first time, I was free. Not because the others had fallen or learned. Not because the world had delivered justice. But because I had finally chosen myself. And in that moment, I knew something no one could ever take away from me. My heart, finally free, was mine.